my slips, my falls, my trials and tribulations, my heart, my balls, my somebody stop me, somebody come and get me. Little did I know that the Lord was riding with me. The dark, the light, my heart, the fight, the wrong, the right is gone.
Hey, what's going on out the YouTube family? This is Samuel Leggett here, representing Two JVS. I'm going to do my very best to give you guys a clear and concise review of my thoughts of the first season of Domestic Girlfriend. You can check this out on VRV, I think, and I think Crunchyroll, and as well as, I think the way that I found it was randomly this YouTube video. I would normally go and read the synopsis, but I have no idea what the synopsis is going to say. So I'm just going to paint a picture for you, and then I'm going to go and talk about my thoughts of this anime. So, the best pictures that I can kind of paint, you have a high schooler, don't know what age bracket, you know he's not like a freshman, but he's like in between, I guess, sophomore to senior. And he wants to be a novelist, that's what he really wants to do. And he's very much so in love with his teacher, but he knows that there's nothing that he can really do about that. But before that, prior to that, he goes to this party and he meets up with this very weird girl, and she invites him to become intimate with him, like just out of the blue, out of nowhere. And then after that happens, she says, well, you're not gonna see me again, like this never happened or whatever. Unbeknownst to this guy, his dad, whose mom passed away a long time ago when he was younger, wanted to get remarried. And unbeknownst to him, that the woman that his dad is marrying, her daughters are the teacher that he loves or is light with, and the girl that he became intimate with. Now, just that alone, the concept is it's a recipe for disaster. Like, you can't write this, bro. Like something like this you see off like a music video or like some kind of random, I don't know, shoehorn like soap opera. You know what I'm saying? Like this show takes on all those different tropes, and then even makes fun of it. There's certain times where the main character Natsuo kind of converses with one of his friends, and the guy that he's kind of like working with or whatever, and they just go through different skits and stuff like that. One of the biggest things about it is that Natsuo very much so is very a romantic and a writer and impressive, but like he's blindly trying to pursue something that not only that he cannot attain, but now it is completely overlined with incestuous circumstances. And it's kind of like, it's a train wreck, bro. Like, it's a train wreck that you're watching and you're like, how can this get any worse? And it just keeps going there. And I wasn't going to do this review, but I'm going to try to break down like my thoughts of it as best I can. I'm not going to recommend this to anybody because very much so it is, I mean, it's not necessarily, there is partial nudity, there's language, there's like a lot of like really bad incestuous perspective, as well as a lot of sexual undertones. They don't really explicitly go into it really heavily in terms of visuals, but the concept and what you're visualizing what's actually happening, like, yeah, it's no good. It's no bueno. Now, as far as like the art design and the cinematography, I think the opening for it is the most beautiful opening that I've seen probably since Tokyo Ghoul. The outro is actually very interesting, especially the verbiage and the length and the actual song itself for both. In terms of the actual animation throughout, I think it's kind of cookie cutter. It's not anything really hyper impressive. But I think what they do get very well is the facial mannerisms and impressions. There's sometimes where Natsuo may be like looking at the love of his life, who is his sensei / teacher in Hina, and just like, oh man, like, this is how I feel about you. And you can tell all over his face what's really going on, but then you can tell underneath her face that there's other things that are actually happening as well. You come to find out she is in a relationship with somebody that is married. And it's kind of like, what do you deal with that scenario, and how does that affect your family, you know? Matter of fact, as a whole, like, there are different things that happen throughout the entirety of the show that you can see the pitfalls of how this can really affect family, business, career, everything. And like, everything is left up to grabs. A lot of people have told me that the manga is still ongoing. I think it's up to like 27 volumes at this point, and it's just getting juicier and juicier. I'm one of those ones that once I start anime, I don't want to go and read the manga because I don't want to get spoiled. But this one, because I don't know if they're going to even go into a second season anytime soon, or if they're even going to go into a second season at all. Based on what I've heard is that this anime corporation that did the studio for this, they normally don't do like 2 seasons. So I don't know where I'm going to lie with that. Then again, the thing about this is that when you look at the opening and you see like all these different other characters, like you see like the sister Rui, who's the one who he was intimate with for the very first time with, and then of course you see the sister as Hiname, that's actually his teacher, and then you see like maybe 3 other girls randomly, and you're like, who are these other girls? And then you get to find out like certain episodes. This is one episode where this one character, people in school like put her on this platform that she is very promiscuous and very loose, and they kind of degrade her to a certain perspective. But then like she's very much so taken by Rui. She really wants to be Rui's friend, like, and I didn't know where this was really gonna go. And then of course she finds Natsuo. Now you come to find out that the relationships and stuff that she had, she's very layered as a character. And that's one of the things I'll say about this show is that every single one of these characters are very layered. It's not like, okay, yeah, these things are happening and like it's just kind of like a whirlwind. Like, no, like every single character has underlying layers that make them characters that can stand on their own. Like if I took any one of these characters, right, and put them in their own spin-off series, I would be very interested to see where it's going to go. There's one character that I don't know if I can remember his name, but he is one of the managers of one of the restaurants. I think his name might be Akito. I can't remember his full name, but just his backstory alone. He is right now a manager at this restaurant. He very much so is a homosexual man, but you come to find out that he was a part of Yakuza. And like he just kind of has like this own little family, and at the same time, like he's got layers to who he was, how he came to being in this restaurant, what is the tattoo on his back, like just different things that make every single one of these characters so much more rich and vibrant the longer you watch it. The problem is, this is the fundamental problem with this. Every single action that's actually happening in the confounds of this story are just wrong. Like they are bad concepts. Like they are not, it's not good. Like there's so many different situations that I can't even, like every single episode, like there's a situation that happens and I just kind of shake my head and it's like, oh my gosh. And I've seen some stuff. Like I've seen, of course, like the Sword Art Online, like Leaf and Kirito, for instance. Or even like the last series I just looked at, which was Beastars. You got a freaking wolf and you got a rabbit, you know, trying to commit like a relationship while alone like the rabbit is like kind of messing with other people. And it's kind of just like, I thought that was rough, but this right here takes the cookie because the fact of the matter is technically these are his stepsisters. At the end of the day, no matter what he feels or whatever, and it's like there's never a point in this show that that concept is ever just glossed over. Every single time you're like, oh, okay, I might be advocating for the main character and Rui, for instance. Rui is very much so like this introvert. She don't know how to communicate, but she's very good at everything. She can cook, she's smart, and she very much so is caring and considerate and bold, and it's like she's the perfect kind of character, but at the end of the day, that Natsuo is wrong. On top of the fact that he's in love with her sister. And so it's kind of like, what is this? Then you got the sister who, under all pretenses, I would say it's not a situation that you're like, yeah, you should go for this. Because I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but on top of the fact that, you know, she is his teacher, she kind of flirty. She very much so kind of like is very all over the place. She drinks, she does stuff, she can't really cook. She's bubbly. She's kind, but she's very mean at times. Like, she can be downright hurtful and like disrespectful for no apparent reason on the surface. And then you start to peel off different layers from her, the more that the main character, Natsuo, like just shares what he really is feeling on the inside, whether it's through his writing or whether it's through his words or through his actions. Like, all the different emotions from everybody. By the end of it, it all comes out. And the way it turns out, bro, like, it was a lot. It was a whole lot. I cannot recommend this to people because morally, I don't accept that this is right in any way, shape, or form. It's so bad. It's so bad. But it's very entertaining, like, and it's very thought-provoking, and it's very layered from a script and a story standpoint from each character. Like, each character's design is very fascinating, very riveting, very lively, and very intriguingly interesting. From the smallest character, like, there's a character that's she's part of the literature club, and she just loves to write. And like the way that she interacts with the main character, Natsuo, and the way she does stuff or doesn't do stuff with her understudies and stuff like that, makes her an intriguing character. And I'm just like, how does this happen? Like, only in anime. So I think that, even though I cannot recommend this, I don't think that by any means that this is a bad or like, you know, trash show. It's trashy. Like, this very trashy, the concepts of stuff that's happening. It's the worst kind of trashy. But it's not a trash actual show. Like, the show itself is very well done, very good. And it's kind of like a train wreck. You just can't stop yourself from watching. And I'm just letting you guys know that I've seen it. And I wanted to review it because I felt like that I should really find some kind of way. Because one thing I'll say about the show, that from a moralistic standpoint, at the end of the day, every single character from the beginning of it until the very end, at so much of point, you realize there are things inside of us that you need to be able to get out. Now, some stuff you don't need to get out. Some stuff you need to let that joint just sink in and just forget it, you know. But I was like, in my own head, I was like, I really need to let people know. Not that I've seen it as a confessional standpoint, but that it's actually a good show, but it's too trashy for me to be able to recommend it. So, yeah, I apologize as a critic, as a reviewer, by not recommending this to people, but I don't want to jeopardize like my morals and the concept of what I believe. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to avoid the fact that this is actually a really entertaining and insanely crazy show. So take with that what you will, with a grain of salt. I will not rate this show. I'm just letting you guys know I've seen it. Again, you can find it on VRV or Crunchyroll, dubbed and English on VRV. I'm not sure anywhere else that has it. Funimation does not have it. And I don't know where you can get it. I don't think it's anything that's physical copy you can be able to purchase. So, yeah. Domestic Girlfriend. Yeah, I'm going to go. Keep it locked. JBS, when you gonna stop? Oh my gosh, why did I just review that? Peace, guys.